Hello. Come to do a quick tutorial for you. I came up with this, I haven't seen anybody do it, that doesn't mean they haven't. I came up with this little envelope notebook because I had a pack of envelopes and note cards that I kind of wanted to use up. They were hanging around. I've used two kits in this little journal, Mrs. Cogs Redoubt's Roses, and also Julie from the Old Design Shop. I've used her, I think it's Vintage Ephemera. I will link Julie and Mrs. Cog down below. But it's basically a little, it started off as a thank you card and then ended up as a little notebook. So I'm going to show you how I made it. So I've already done envelope inking, so you don't have to watch me do that. So I'm just going to grab my Big Shot and I hope this will be in focus. I'm going to slide just the tab of the envelope into an embossing folder. Now this is Tim Holtz Alterations, but you can use any embossing folder, or you don't even have to use an embossing folder. You could stencil this, that would probably look quite cool, or you could leave it as an envelope. Leave it completely plain. That would work too. I'm just going to run that through. I don't usually do embossing on my desk because I do not have a lot of room. I usually do it on the dining table. So I'm just going to pop that back on the floor for me to fall over later. Ah! Whoops. Oh dear. Sorry. I can't start the video again because I've only prepped this one envelope and I don't know how many I've got left. Right. So the only inking, hopefully the only inking you're going to have to watch me do is just ink up this embossed area here. So these are cool, these are good fun. Nice and easy too. And loads of options that you could do. Okay, so we have the first part of our envelope. The thing with these envelopes is they're fully lined and you think they're great quality, and they are very good quality, but the problem is when you open the envelope flap all the way, this moves. That doesn't really matter for what we're going to do. So I've just cut a piece of tea stained paper the same width as my envelope, so it actually goes into the envelope. Now this is the only tricky bit. Let me just make sure. Yeah, just wanted to make sure I'm in shot. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run a little bit of glue here, and I've bought the wrong one. I've got this 3-in-1 instead of the Fabri-Tac, but at the moment I haven't noticed any difference. So I'm going to slot this in. And this, like I said, this is the only tricky bit, so you get it in without getting glue all over the inside of your envelope. And you just need to make sure it's past the flap. You don't need to, and that's actually stuck, so I haven't got a lot of choice now. So what I'm going to do is turn this over and just trim around the flap of the envelope. Get rid of that bit. Okay. So we're not stuck here yet, which is fine. What I've just inked a piece of seam binding. I haven't wet it and, you know, made it look vintage because I didn't want it to be too much darker than the envelope. So what I'm going to do is I'm using my 2-glue attack on this. The first thing I'm going to do is just give it an all over coating of Pritt Stick. And then I'm going to run a bead of my Fabri-Tac Come 3-in-1 up there, and I'm just going to lay this down there. Now the Pritt Stick is obviously everywhere, but I'm just going to put a little bit more the fabric 3-in-1 over that trim. And then I'm going to grab my bone folder and I'm going to give that a good burnish down. And I have massive seepage. This is actually slightly different to the Fabri-Tac. I think there is a difference. I've also got a bit of fabric, it's not fabric, glue. Got a bit of that glue on my trim, which is a bit of a pain, as well as all over my board. Didn't seep out like that on the last one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just use my ruler and get that crease into the envelope. You can see I haven't quite trimmed that enough. So the other thing I'm going to do is the camera literally is just touching the top of my head, my poles that my camera is suspended from. So I hope it's not making it, as long as I'm looking down, it should be okay. More glue. Obviously you're going to make a lot better of a job than I am on this. It's because I'm being quick, because I've got my lunch in the oven. But I've got so many things to do today. This was kind of my time slot for making the video. Oh, and I should have done this yesterday. Okay, so that is, oh, I'm getting glue everywhere. That is half of our journal cover. Okay, so here's one I made earlier. Much more successful than this one. So I'm going to put this at the front and this is going to be my back. So you can see how it kind of starts to take shape. Now, it came, these are the, I have got an envelope left. Okay, so this is the little note card that came with the envelope. Now, obviously it's smaller than the envelope, which is fine. So what I did was I just made a very, very simple notebook out of the note card like this. I've just put in a few various pages. I've inked the inside but not the outside, and I actually put the binding on the outside. So the knot is on the outside of this. Now we also want this to be a pocket. So I'm going to take what will be my front cover and lay that down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, I'm doing it this way around so I don't glue the wrong edge. I'm going to glue the bottom and fairly close to the spine and along the top. And I do hope this is as strong as Fabri-Tac, because the last one I made with the Fabri-Tac I didn't realise I was just about out. Now I'm going to lay this down, line it up. It's got plenty of movement. Plenty of movement in it, unlike, I'm pretty sure Fabri-Tac wouldn't have moved around quite so much. Okay, so that's the front cover. That's not sticking particularly well. I think I'm going to have to make a little prime order to get my proper glue. Okay, so that's the front done, and then the back will go this way. So I'm just going to do the same again. I'm going to leave it laying down this time. Just going to glue along there, along the spine and up here. I'm actually going to lay this on top of it to line these up. Make sure they are lined up. making a real mess today. Just really make sure that's stuck along that spine end. Okay, so we have the kind of start, pretty good, of our journal. Glue seepage. This glue stays wetter, I think, longer than the Fabri-Tac. I'm sure it is an acetone based glue, acid free and waterproof. I don't really know how I ended up with this instead of Fabri-Tac, because I ordered two. I ordered two at a time, and I've just finished. Well, I haven't just finished, I've got some left, but it's got to that stage where when you're doing a tutorial it's a bit difficult to get out, so that's why I started the new glue. So we've got pocket here, and we have a pocket here, and we have the pockets in the cover. And we're also going to have our tie closure, and we're using the flaps of those envelopes to keep that closed. So I have a piece of calico that I've just cut to the height of my envelope. I'm just going to give that a little bit of a crease, but not too much, because we've obviously got a little bit of a spine to cover. So I'm going to just pop glue along the closed flap of this envelope. On, push down. I haven't inked this or coloured it in any way, so it's very plain. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to run a tiny amount of glue down the spine of the notebook, and then I'm going to put glue in the same place on the other side. And obviously you can see me doing that, so you know. I don't know. Should I? I don't know whether you need a commentary or what. And I'm just going to fold this over. There we go. So we now have our fabric spine, but I would like to put a bit of trim along here. Now you could trim this off, and I've got another little project. I'm not actually going to do a tutorial, but I have got another project to show you where you can see what I mean, as long as I don't forget. So I'm going to use this gorgeous blue trim and just cut two lengths of that. Oh, do you know how many of these I've stood on? There is no, I don't think there's a perfect way to store trim and lace. If anybody's got one, please share. Do a little tutorial on how you store your lace and trim. Okay, so what I want to do is I want a full one at the top. I'm not going to get a full one top and bottom, but I do want a full one at the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a bead of glue just at the bottom, all the way up the spine and along here, because that's where I know it's going to stick, and then I'm just going to do a very light squiggle of glue over the rest of that spine, and then I'm going to line the top. First, I'm just going to trim that excess. I do like that blue. Okay, so I'm going to do exactly the same along here. I want a full piece at the top. I'm just going to run a little bead comes out. I don't know if I don't like this because I know it's not Fabri-Tac or it's just not working as well. I'm not sure, but I don't like it. It's probably just because I know it's not Fabri-Tac. It definitely doesn't seem to have quite the grab that Fabri-Tac has. Okay. Same again, just turn this over and trim off that excess. Being very careful not to trim any of the envelope. So there we go, we have a little envelope journal notebook with quite a lot of glue. I will get that off. Okay, so very simple to decorate this. I've got some of the gorgeous, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it, Redoute's roses. Redoute? Or Redoute? I don't know. I've already inked these. So this one, I'm going to turn it into a little pocket, I think. So this is from Julie from the old design shop. Already got a lob of glue. So I'm going to just run a little bead of glue on the top and the bottom and the sides. Now I'm not going to put the picture in as yet, but what I'm going to do is on the back, I'm not going to have the back as a pocket, I'm going to have it more as a kind of little decoration collage kind of thing. So I'm just going to, I mean, you could make this a lot more fancy, obviously. And there's a lot of scope for these, lots of things you could do with them. So I'm just going to pop that down as an angle. That actually looks awesome as it is, doesn't it? I am going to pop on a rose. I think I'm going to go for the yellow. And obviously you could do these in all sorts of themes. Mrs. Cogs kits, for example, you could, she's got some awesome Christmas ones out. I can't get my head into Christmas just yet. I don't know, I just can't do Christmas yet. Soon, I have a few things started, but I just couldn't motivate myself. But these types of ephemera from the old design shop, they're so versatile. You can use these with absolutely anything. They make fantastic collages, and then you could, like I said, pair it with any of Mrs. Cogs' kits, Christmas ones or her the Egyptian ones or the children playing and the reading, any of those. They would just work brilliantly in here. So that should be dry enough now to pop our little tag in. I think what I might do is pop a second one behind there. And then in the front pocket, I'm just going to pop another couple of little cards. And the same as the other journal, I've just done a tiny little collage tag. And I'm going to pop that with a paper clip somewhere. I like the craft paper actually. I think I'm going to pop it onto one of the craft pages because it's a craft tag. So there it is, and obviously we've still got some ephemera left, so I'm going to pop those into that front envelope. And you could pop some like Happy Mail in here. You could use it for your pen pal as an envelope to write your letter. There's so many things you can do with these, and I'll show you the other one I made very quickly. So that's that. This is kind of how it started, how the idea came about. I have taken two of the envelopes and just decorated the top, and I've glued them around the edge to make a pocket. And this one I've just popped a little piece of coffee stained paper in there, and then that pocket that those two envelopes make, I've just slotted that into the middle, and obviously you've still got the envelopes to pop more in if you wanted. So that's another little idea. So I hope you enjoyed my very quick little tutorial on my envelope, double envelope notebooks, whatever you want to call them, thingies. That's the kind of name I usually give my stuff when I come up with something. Like I said, I've not seen anybody do these before, but I can't guarantee this is original. But there you have it. I hope you liked it. I will be back with more, as always, and I look forward to seeing you all soon.